Hello everyone, welcome to Prim Legal. My name is Priscilla and I'm your host. Thank you for joining us in today's session. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers. You make my day amazing. Thank you very much. And if this is your first time of joining us, I would like you to please click the subscribe button and join the train. So in today's session, we'll be talking about an offense that I would term an unfortunate incident. Actually, it's best known as an unfortunate incident because I wouldn't say some people fall into this unknowingly without even knowing what they are doing or what's happening around them is a crime. But then again, the law is law, and that's why I deemed it fit for us to talk about it today, so that people get to know more about it and, of course, be aware. And that offense is no other than receiving stolen properties. And yes, receiving stolen properties is a crime of its own. Of course, it's different from the crime of stealing itself. Now, have you ever wondered people that rob, people that steal, people that, maybe in the process of kidnapping, obtain certain properties from their victims under duress? Have you ever thought or wondered, who do they give these properties to? How do they dispose of these properties? Obviously, they give it to either loved ones or family and friends, or they sell it probably another. And so the law is saying that, look, if you receive a stolen property, you've committed another offense of its own and you'll be liable to punishment. Now, section 427 of the Criminal Code is what actually defines receiving stolen property and also prescribes the punishment for it. Now, section 427 of the Criminal Code clearly states, and I quote, that look, if anybody at all receives a particular property, and that property was in itself obtained, by act of felony, and felony here can mean stealing, whatsoever, crime and all that. So if that person who receives that property knows fully well that, look, this property in question was, was obtained via stealing or during the alarm robbery attempt or something like that, of course, that person is deemed to have committed the offense receiving stolen property. And section 427 goes further to say, look, if you are found guilty of this act, you can be sentenced to 7 years imprisonment or 14 or life imprisonment. Depends on the circumstances or what transpired when that property was obtained. So literally, most people tend to fall victim of this particular act, this particular offense, because it really wouldn't make sense. Like, I'm on my own, I'm sitting down, and all of a sudden police officers burst into my house and they're telling me that, look, the phone in your possession was stolen, or the phone in your possession belonged to a man that was stabbed to death while it was still obtained from him. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I probably bought the phone, or the phone was given to me as a gift by a loved one, maybe a brother or my boyfriend or something. And you see, people are usually caught up in this situation and circumstance. So approximately what we're trying to talk about here is simple: how to avoid being caught up in this loop. How to avoid being caught up in this loop. And all that. So because the court makes us to understand over time that, look, in order for receiving stolen property to be proved, 3 things have to be established. The first thing is that, 1, that particular item was stolen. So the prosecution has to prove that, look, this laptop was stolen from somebody, or this phone was stolen from somebody, the car in question was stolen from somebody. I'm just trying to list properties that can be stolen from people anyway. Then secondly, the prosecution has to prove that that property was found in the accused's possession. Now, the accused now is not the criminal that actually did the robbing. The accused right now is the person who received the property. So yes, if I'm on the prosecuting team, I have to prove to the court that, look, this car was found either in your house, or I saw you driving it, and when you were stopped by police officers, of course, you were busy tendering documents to prove that, oh, this car is mine, and or it was found in your compound, or there are a lot of circumstances. But however, the prosecution team has to prove possession. Now, you have to understand that possession doesn't just mean physical possession. It likewise also means constructive possession. Constructive possession may be, I'm not really physically holding it, or it's not with me physically, but it's with someone on my instruction. Take for instance, oh, they call me, oh, there's this car I have for you, and all that, and I tell, okay, drop it with my house girl in the house, or drop it with my gatesman, or oh, go and park it so and so person's compound, I'll pick it up from there and all that. So this was based on my instruction, so it's deemed that, look, I'm in possession of that particular property. The third thing that prosecution has to prove, which is what this is the actual ingredient I feel like we all should take very seriously, and that is that the accused person, as at the time of receiving the property, knew fully well that that property was stolen, or that that property was obtained during the course of a crime. Now, that is the reason is this particular ingredient is very important to me is because we've had tons of cases where we see people say things like, oh, I bought it, I have my receipt, and police officers are like, okay, you bought it, you have your receipt, do you mind showing us who you bought it from? Some people are lucky, they find the person they bought it from. Other people are not lucky, they don't find the person just disappears into the thin air. And of course, if you're a police officer, who would you arrest? The person you found the property with. Or other people tell you that, oh, I got it as a gift from either my boyfriend or my dad or something like that. Alright, take us to the person. So you see, this is where I said unfortunate incident, because it's so sad and painful that one has to, go to jail for receiving a stolen property. But it also means that individuals have to be careful when they are receiving any property or any item whatsoever. Take for instance, one, the court has said that, look, how does the court know that, oh, the person knows that this property was stolen? Apart from the general thing that happens that, oh, okay, we've all planned it together, after you finish stealing it, bring it to my house, I'll hide it till when the smoke comes down and all that, all those kind of stuff. No, there are people who, innocently take these things, and the court is saying that, look, regardless of the fact that you innocently took it, there were circumstances you ought to have known that this particular property was stolen. Take for instance, the property was sold to you at a price way below the actual market price. I'm selling an iPhone. What's the highest iPhone right now? Well, you get the point. And I'm selling to you for 20,000-30,000 naira. It's not logical. So the court tells you that you ought to have known that that property was stolen. The circumstances surrounding you ought to have told you that, look, this property was stolen. That is one. Secondly, if peradventure the person who is selling to you naturally doesn't deal in that product, you know that I sell fish in the market. All of a sudden, I'm giving you what now? I'm giving you a laptop to buy. Oh, a guy just once said, and you know fully well that that laptop is not mine. It's not like as if you have seen me with a laptop long time ago, I've been using it, and maybe I'm in need of money and I need to, quickly sell and all that. No. I just suddenly appear with a laptop. That's suspicious, and the court expects you to know that, and see, Oga, this thing was stolen. What of incidents where you didn't buy? All of a sudden, you seem to have this, in quotes, lover who doesn't, you know fully well that the person is not earning so much, and yet the person is giving you something that is way probably above their pay grade or something. The court actually expects you to be smarter. That's what this offense is trying to say. Act smarter, because if you think about it, if everybody is rejecting stolen properties, who will the armed robbers sell their stolen properties to? Exactly. Now look, there's also the incident of, oh, you have a friend who runs to your house and like, oh, please, just help me hide this thing. You will not ask your friend, what is inside that thing you want me to help me hide? Where did you get it from? Why are you hiding it? You just keep it. And your friends are, I'm coming back, and obviously probably doesn't come back. That is receiving stolen property, and you have to be more careful. So what I'm trying to say this today is simple. Be more cautious and be more careful when receiving properties, when buying properties. Especially there are certain properties in particular, like phones, cars, laptops, gadgets. These things usually have a way of being tracked, and I think you should be more careful. We've seen incidents whereby a car that was stolen over like 4 or 5 months ago, they find it in one, I don't know how to put it, one showroom, and the police officers are arresting the managers and everything. Like, everybody needs to be more careful. You need to do your thorough diligence do more work on goods that you are receiving from people, whether they are people you know or people you don't know. You have to be more careful. Now, anytime I am doing a recording like this, I always like to distinguish between the criminal code and of course the penal code. I said it before in my previous videos that look, criminal code is a code that of course regulates Southern Nigeria, and why penal code is the one that regulates Northern Nigeria. And now the penal code actually prescribes 14 years imprisonment for receiving stolen property. So yeah, that's it. Penal code says 14 years imprisonment. So obviously if this offense is committed in Northern Nigeria, it's going to be 14 years imprisonment. But if it's committed here, you have the option of 14 years, you have the option of 7 years, you have the option of life imprisonment. It depends. The property was obtained from that particular person. So yes, that is what today's topic is all about. Be careful about how and who you receive properties from. Be careful about things that you allow to be kept in your house or around you or close to you. It's very important. So because you really don't want to be caught in this unfortunate incident, like I have termed it over and over again, because it's sad, but it's what the law is. So yes, still, it is my belief that after watching this video right now, you have a clearer understanding of what receiving stolen property is, and you do your possible best to, of course, avoid it. So, till my next session, I believe and I trust that you're going to stay away from crime or anything that looks like it. Thank you very much for watching.